was horrible. Defeat. Wait, I lost. Oh yeah, I forgot. This guy. And this guy fucking got shit on too. Just Cav left. Oh, that was so bad. Holy shit. Wow. Wow, that was horrible. Hopefully no one takes that settlement. I kind of want to fucking still get it after. Armenia, you want a peace treaty? No. I'm bringing armies up right now to take them. Culture to a defensive alliance. Yes, definitely. What the fuck are they doing? Agents and something or what? Yeah, figured. Wow, of course. Bribe my fucking people. Join war against Athens. I will fight Athens in a bit. Athens. I'll see if I can get Thai or whatever to fucking fight them as well. Diversity Defensive Alliance. Yes, definitely. Oh, and also sub too. Wow, that was a horrible fucking battle. Agent's been detained. Oh, what a bastard. Fucking yoinked my... Oh. Wait, what do they have? Indian families have... Oh. Okay, that's fine. I can take that back a lot easier than... So you're Indian families. Oh, you bastard, you fucking took it. I fucked that up so badly, holy shit. Our forces, so... No. Timo's mine. Nictus is mine. She's mine. Artemis, whatever. So Thea, whatever, and Das. I know actors on as well. Wait, I can just check. General, politician. So actor and Deos, whatever. Sacrifices, obviously, yeah. And actor, yeah. Here we go. So you, my friend. Timo. What's he facing? Is he gonna go for me? They'll probably go next turn and betray me or whatever, so... You guys switch. hopefully the next turn they don't go off and succeed. Well, one more turn is all I need, really. Adopt. There's 30 gravitas, like all of it. But you know what, they're also low as fuck. I'll adopt Teemo. I can get you a spouse. There we go. Having children, that'd be sick. So everyone's just adopted now, honestly. Like if I look at my original line, yeah, it's just adopted. It's not actually my fucking bloodline anymore. No sauce is totally okay. There we go. Armenia. You know what? These guys are going up top to fight Armenia. Oh, there we go. They moved up as well. Hopefully they don't succeed. If they don't succeed this time, then I can probably take 2 settlements. Oh shit. Armenia's vibing. They're like actually doing quite well. So maybe put Egyptian successionists. It's just that one boat. As soon as they all die out, it'll be for the best. Okay, Knossos is close enough where I can probably... I'm on civil right now, am I not? Yeah, they succeeded. Okay. Fuck. Nice. Who's my new one? They're Jewish families. Are they gonna be shit? Hates Romans. Perfect. Bigot. Actually, I think we'll get off quite well. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll get off quite well. I might actually use their generals for fighting. Wait, I lost sacrifice. Like it's gone. Secessionists. Can I ask for peace? Oh wait, the Egyptian successionists get it back. Oh, same faction. So every single time that they... Never mind. I thought it would be something like the Greek families. Greek... I don't know. Whatever. So one army here. That's quite the fucking... Put them under siege next turn. And down here, I'll just take them out real quick. I'm so bad at siege battles, honestly. I'm not, like, I might fight land battles, but that was so bad. I fucked that up so badly. Bernie or fucking I need food. I'm gonna order food here. I need food badly. I picked civil, right? I think so. What's happening? Should I really help Carthage against them? They need the help. $5 grand. Okay, yeah, I'm glad I helped that. Dude, they have so many armies, what the fuck? They keep leaving. Where are they going? Oh shit.
Your job is to make sure you give me exact values. Using your time to go back, review your special
I'm not against you, right?
and your unit circle if you've forgotten. So let me quickly review. That's the cos of pi over 2. I see I got a 0. I did that, but let me quickly review. This is your cos equal y equals cos x. So then pi over 2 is right there. What's the value? Remember, the y value is your ratio. So that's a ratio. That's an angle. So cos of pi over 2 is 0. So I put that in. And then that was pi squared and pi, 2 squared. So remember, it was pi over 2 squared.
500.
And then now I'm at sine pi over 2. So then I'm going to go to my sine graph. Y equals sine x. Pi over 2 is right there. What's my ratio? I look at the y value. It is 1. So let's plug in 1. All divided by 2. I'm going to deal with the squared right away. Pi over 4. Then square root And now I got to find cos of pi over 2. Pi cos is up here. So pi over 2 is right there. The reason I have to draw lines, in my mind, if I want you guys to look at a specific place on your screen, I have to do these little things for you to focus. And yeah, it might make my notes worse, but I'll go back and erase it eventually. I need to write bigger. And my personality is I do like to write small.
Money.
Okay, so...
sorry, Mr. Kodarami.
Yeah.
On the bottom, it says 2 pi over 4. Shouldn't it be pi squared over 4? Or do you just square the bottom?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you got to square everything. Yes, I missed that. Very nice. Okay, so now let's go to cos pi over 2. Cos pi over 2 is 0. So right there, 0. I'll put in the 0 again. So now y prime equals -2 times square root of 0 is 0. I'll put in for now. And then pi squared over 4 times 1 is pi squared over 4. 0 times this times 0, that is still 0. Oh, interesting. Did I make a mistake anywhere? Can someone see anything? I'll just quickly graph it on my calculator to see if my instinct matches. I might have made an error. I can't see a division by that means it's undefined. So let me go back. So while you guys play around with that, let me graph it on my calculator to see if my answer makes sense.
No.
This is where that practice and having instincts and how do I know I've done this correctly makes the difference. So I have enough skills to say, oh, I can check it by doing this and that sort of stuff. So I'm just graphing my original equation, this one at the very top. I want to know at pi over 2, what's going on? X of pi over 2. So I'm going to go into my interval. Actually, let me do it on my computer. Give me a moment. X plus square root of cos x. Now, before I hit graph, I'm going to go into my windows, and then I'm going to go from 0 to usually 2 pi makes sense because thinking back to your sine graph, cosine graph,
they can take
going to 2 pi. But for your interval, this part's important because I want to know what's happening at pi over 2. Let's make sure the interval's at pi over 2. So second pi divided by 2. So I want to make sure my interval's pi over 2 so then I can see what's happening there. Y min, Y max doesn't matter right now. I'm going to leave that alone. The graph. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Something funny is going on at pi over 2. Wow, that is an interesting graph. Let me see if I can figure something out. Let me use my zoom. Before I do that, let me go into my table and see what's happening. Interesting. So at pi over 2, let me see what that is. So pi divided by 2 is roughly 157. So at 1.57, you see how I'm getting errors? Error. I'm getting, there's no value there. And then, let me see what's happening at positive. So notice my increments are going by 0.1. So remember how to do that. So let me show that second calc. Remember table value and change delta table, that's change in table. I'm going by 0.1. So let me change this to start at 1.5. So I could scroll down too. So let me go to second table. Again, I'm just connecting my thoughts of what I've done with graph to feel a little bit confident what's going on. So you see 1.4, 1.5 is defined, and then all of a sudden there's errors. And then it comes back at some point, right? Keep going. And then at 4.8, it comes back. So let me go back to my graph now. Okay, no matter how much I zoom in, this part is undefined. So it doesn't surprise me something funny is going on at power 2. So now I'll go back. So this is really challenging because now you're down. I was doubting myself. I'm like, why would they want us to divide by 0? Because I know division by 0 is undefined. And now, this is what people are saying. How do I know my answer? Look at what I did. I graphed it. An undefined slope means there's no slope to figure out. There's no value there. So if there's no value, I'm feeling confident now. I feel like I found my slope. Now, unfortunately, I can't find the tangent line now because remember the question was find the equation, and that's what people wanted to do. So let me quickly review that. So because some of you are getting stuck here, how do I find the equation? So let me make something up. Let's say I went through this. I'm not saying it is, but let's make it up. Made up. So let's say once I plug the number in, let's say it happened to be 2. I just made it so it's easier. So the slope is 2 at, and remember that we had a point, power 2 over pi. It looks pretty crazy. But if you keep it organized, so remember to find an equation, we always need 2 things. Remember that I felt like a rap star. I always said, what 2 things do you need? Slope and a point, slope and a point. This is where you have the slope now, you have the point. Now, you should be able to find y equals mx plus speed. So some people weren't quite sure what to do there, but I think once you know the slope is 2, remember what you do, you go in there, put in the 2. You have to figure out what b is. And now you got to find out b. So that's where the x comes in. As even though it looks crazy with this pi stuff and 2 over pi, hey, just plug it in. Don't get intimidated by crazy numbers. And then solve for b, and then make sure you write your equation down afterwards. And now, how do you make connections? That's the other piece. So people, that takes it to a whole new level. How do you make the connection? That's right. How do you make the connection between, once you, let's say it was 2x plus 5, let's say it worked out to that. And the original equation was that crazy stuff 1 over x. But because the derivative was undefined, it's going to be harder for me to explain. So, but I'll make something up. So I'll explain in a second. So let's say, I know at pi over 2, this x value is undefined. Let's say if it was at pi over 4. Okay, so we saw what the graph looked like. The graph looks like that, so I'll draw. So pi over 4, let's say, is there. Okay, so right there. So it looks like this, and then it comes over here, does something. If I say, what's this tangent line? First of all, make sure you know what a tangent line is. Tangent line is where the curve just touches the line, just touches that curve. So if the curve's in like this, where's the tangent? So is the tangent there? Obviously not. It just has to touch one point. It's touching the graph, not going through the graph. So now,
oh no.
Erase that. So tangent line.
Why did Carthage leave?
Would be like that.
I'm fucked.
So now let me just change this so it looks like more like that. 2x, and let's say that's 5. So now when you go to graph it on your calculator, if you put in this equation and put in this equation, this one won't work out because I did not have a slope at that, and I just made this equation up. So if you graph the original function, you graph your tangent line, you should get a perfect line that touches at that point. Does that make sense, Andrew? Do you see what
No.
you have found at the end? You found the tangent line that just touches. So if that point is, that would be pi over 4. That would be 2 over pi. So that point is 2 over pi, oops, pi over 4.
Attack me, bro.
2 over pi. So that point right there, I should have a perfect tangent to the curve. Andrew, if you can give me a thumbs up, saying something like, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So like on the quizzes, and when all you ask that, because you've asked that for the last 2, that's all you want? Is just saying that it's going to be a perfect line touching the point.
Yeah, because now you're showing me, do you really, like, that kind of a question on a test, I would never ask in class. But now that we have video feed, I can see what's going on in that brain. Do you really know what tangent line means? Tangent means just touches at that specific point.
It also means that's like the slope at that point, isn't it?
The slope is this number there. So
Holy
the
shit.
equation will tell me the equation of the line.
Oh, queen.
But you're right, the slope also is inferred from that equation. The slope is the number in front of x.
Oh.
So now when I go to graph it, so you should have, how do I check it? If you graph your tangent line and you graph the original equation, it should just touch the graph at that point that you found it at.
Okay.
So I would say maybe about 60% of you guys, 70%, maybe 60 to 70% got that idea, but there's still students that struggle. And if you look at your notes, no one has ever asked you to explain, but now I can do that in your video because I want to see if people truly understand what they found. Okay, so let's leave that for now. I'm not going to take any questions at this moment because I've done enough stuff from the past and we got a little bit of time. I would like to start our implicit defense. We didn't get a big start on that, so I want to make sure we had the weekend, plus we had a bit of a review yesterday. So let's make sure we review what we learned last class. So let's go to your implicit differentiation where it says chamber, the second page. All right, I gotta really focus on my writing. If I scribble, and feel free to give me feedback, please. If I scribble, I must erase it. Unless
I'll just start yelling.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
You did.
You should have an icon. You just send out right away. So I will still scribble. I will still point your attention to specific spots because the brain needs to see it, and I need you to know where I'm pointing. But I have to make sure I erase it and not leave all kinds of scribbles everywhere because I don't want people to get confused. And I agree with you. I see your issues with me scribbling, and then it takes away from where I'm supposed to look at. Lots of stuff's been scribbled.
It makes it so when you have to go back and look at it, like your own notes, it's like, wait, where the hell were we?
Yeah.
It's like trying to follow it step by step is like impossible at that point.
And then space is also limited. So some of you might want to do your work on a separate piece of paper. I am very thoughtful at how much paper I photocopy. So then I try to squeeze in more than what I should, and that causes some students some problems because some people's writing are quite large. Okay, so let me review through what happened here. Let me start with explicit. Can we go on page 1, please? Let's start there. Oh man, that's a serious scribble. Yikes. Let me erase some of this stuff. Okay, I don't need all this junk here. Okay, so let me go through that. Oops, let me leave that. So, explicit, implicit. So everything we've done up to 2.4, everything has been explicit. Explicit. How do I know something's explicit? Look at this bottom. If the bottom matches the variable that you're taking the derivative with respect to, explicit. We haven't done implicit so far.
I don't have the food for that.
So look at the 5x cubed. We know how to do that. Derivative of 5x cubed is 15x squared. Oh, easy. Explicit. Now one more time. This needs to be highlighted. Highlighted doesn't work. Okay. So this piece is very important. That x must match this x. If it matches, so it doesn't have to, sorry. If it matches the x that follows in the formula, we call it explicit. Any questions there? Implicit. Let me erase all the scribbled stuff. Now notice the difference. We need to be able to recognize when to use implicit. After I finish this lesson, people think everything's implicit now. Not true. Most of the stuff we've done is explicit. Implicit happens when we're dealing with physics. So let's see what happens. So we're not going to do any real application. We'll do that tomorrow or a couple days from now. dx does not match. So definitely circle that. They don't match. That's x, that's a y. Whenever that x and the y does not match, I'm taking the derivative of this formula. Let me use a different color. So if I take the derivative of the red, the formula, y to the 4, with respect, remember that d by dx means with respect to x. I'm going to find the derivative of the red with respect to the x. So when they don't match, we have to use implicit differentiation. What's the difference? One little difference. So minus is on. Here we go. That's the same. That's no surprise. The 4 comes in front. Power rule 4. 4 minus 1, 3. I think all of you are good with the power rule now. So that's power rule. Now this is what's different. I need to add one piece every time it's implicit. There's a y, I have to write it as
what?
Y. Because that x and that y does not match, it creates a y prime. Now what's to do with how y is changing? So there's another part to the y. And once we do the application, this y will make more sense. Right now, all the steps and just do it. And then we'll make sense of it. I tried making sense, if you remember, with this stuff somewhere. With this example. But I'm not going to go through that. That can be confusing for students. Let's, for now, just purely memorize it. So let me go through A one more time. I see the x on the bottom, derivative, that's d, standing for derivative of cosine, derivative of cosine. Notice there's a y. Until now, it's always been an x. With respect to x. So derivative of cosine y with respect to x. So now I recognize the implicit. Once you recognize the implicit, this is important. You'll have one additional piece. So that's how I'm going to start referring to it. We need one additional piece, dy by dx, or if you like, if it looks nicer for you, you can write it as y prime. Your call. Usually, this way is a little bit nicer. You see the y, you see the x. And then once we do application problems, usually it's written as, not as dy dx. I'll show you on the bottom right if you look. Let me actually not do it there because then, can you guys look on the middle on the left? I'm going to write it as dx over dt. So once you get into first year physics, they'll start talking about dx dt. They'll start saying x is your distance or displacement, t is its distance, or it could be displacement, and t is your time. Remember, derivative means slope. Slope means change. So what it's saying, how is x changing? So once, I'm just giving a foreshadow of what's coming up. How is x changing as time is changing? As time is changing. So eventually, this dx dt is a fancy way of saying speed. That's your V formula. dx dt means speed in physics. And then guess what acceleration is? So now you got to do the derivative twice. So now you could write it as y prime also. Y prime means single derivative. Now if you do double derivative, you put g prime. And by the way, some of you are forgetting to use prime. Prime, that's dash I put in, is your first derivative. This is your second derivative. Now in terms of this, it would be find the second derivative of your x, your distance. How is distance changed? Second derivative with respect to t squared, dt squared. So that's how it will eventually look in physics. Okay, so too much stuff for some of you. Just making some connection as we go through. So right now, that's not important to us. So back to this. So as soon as I see this x and this y not matching implicit, that means now I do my normal derivative. Derivative cost is negative sine y. Now, if you like, think of it like a chain rule. I got to find the derivative of the inside, which is y prime. Always must have this additional piece. So let's call it that additional piece. So if you know you're dealing with implicit, make sure you have something extra. Don't do things like normally. So let's go to B. We left off on B, so we rushed it at the end, I guess. So let me go through that one more time. So first of all, you got to recognize we got 4 rules. We started power, product, quotient, chain. You got to know which one you need to work with. So we probably said, oh, that's the product. I'm guessing most people are starting to recognize the differences between them. So now I didn't use any formulas. I must have used verbal. Y squared times the derivative of 1. So that's your derivative of x. So that's what I see. So I wrote it down. And here I go circling again. Yeah. Again, I'm going to start after this one. Let it be. Okay, so derivative of x times y squared plus, now I'm going to go x times the derivative 2y. Now, why didn't I put a dy by dx for this first one? Does anyone remember why I didn't put the dy, this additional piece?
Because it says d over dx.
If that x matches that x, explicit. So let's actually write that in. I didn't put anything in there. Maybe I might have said it. That's explicit. That's probably a lot of writing for some of you in one little space. So maybe start a brand new sheet of paper, and that might help some of you keep it a bit neater. So I don't need that additional piece because that's explicit. Now look at the second term. I have this additional piece. So I'm going to start calling additional because now it's implicit. How do I know it's implicit? Let's take a look. So the product rule says derivative of that times that plus x times the derivative of this. I'll erase it afterwards. So derivative of this, look at the x, look at the y. Maybe I should extend that again. So look at this, look at this. I need the derivative of y squared with respect to x. Implicit. So now my instinct
Wow,
says
I did like no damage.
Piece. I had a hard time in university figuring this out, but hopefully by how I emphasize it, maybe it might be easier. I'm not sure. I'll find out as we go through. X doesn't match the y squared. So now I say, okay, x is already there. Y squared, I know how to find derivative of y squared. That's my power rule, 2y. So I have that. I did the derivative of y squared. But then, because it did not match, additional piece. Now, I'm okay with y prime. It looks nicer, doesn't it?
Nice.
However, dy by dx has more meaning as we get into upper level calculus, upper level physics. Okay, any question about b? So I use my product rule. There was one implicit, one explicit function. So this was implicit. Let's actually write it down. This was my implicit. Okay, let's go to C now. All right, so let me try to be nice and neat. I'm going to delete this stuff above and let me be a new person. Let's see if I can clean something.
So is this an implicit function because it's d over dt, so there's no x?
Good. So right away you should say, wait a minute, boom, boom. Doesn't match. So your brain should know it's going to be implicit somehow. Look at B. I already knew it was implicit. That x and y didn't match. We've done like x times like x plus 1. We've done product rule, but it was always one variable. We're going to get into two variables now. Cos of y, that x and y implicit. As soon as implicit,
Damn.
you should say, all right, Rocksters, come on. Right, I got implicit. Can you guys shout out additional piece? Here we go. Unmute, please, everybody. Unmute everybody. Here we go. When I say implicit, you say
Additional.
Additional piece. Additional piece.
Even at home, I can feel a little extra. Additional piece. That's okay. We got this. So one more time. You see that T doesn't match that X? Implicit, additional piece.
Additional piece.
Yeah. Okay. So now here's the question. We still do all the same derivative. We just have this additional piece that's going to come up. What rule do I use? So I'm going to go through, don't shout anything out or text yet. Power rule, product, quotient, chain. Somebody, anybody, what do you think is the easiest way of finding the derivative?
The power?
Power is only for polynomials. So power is not true. So power for polynomials. So x to the fifth plus 3x squared. Those are polynomials. Now, maybe we might use a power rule. What's my main rule?
Chain.
Chain. Now, is it possible to use the product rule? What do you guys think?
Is it no because they're different variables?
Let's see. So, good point. Remember sine squared x, I'll write it on the side so then afterwards I can erase it, means this. Oops, I guess I didn't need the brackets. I think what I was trying to do is do that. Remember, those two mean the same thing. When there's a squared there, the whole thing's squared. So really, even though the variables don't match between those implicit, I could use the product rule.
What the fuck?
Can use product rule. So if you would like for homework, maybe later, or if you want to do now, depending how fast you are, I think chain rule is easier. So I'll give you a moment to see if you can figure this out. What's the derivative of sine squared x with respect to t? Implicit, we got one additional piece, you do everything the same, one extra piece.
Wait, Mr. K.
Yeah.
Where you wrote it like d over t is the same as, like sine 2x is the same as sine x to the power of 2?
Yeah.
Can you not use the power rule for that? Because you said product.
Power rule is only for polynomials. You see what polynomials are? It's always base of x, and then it has to be something like that, x squared.
Okay.
So to me, there's actually a squared and a trig function.
Oh, are you fucking kidding me?
So there's two functions there. So these are called composite functions, right? There's a squared and a trig function inside. So those are called composite because there's two different functions together. So when there's two different functions, we got to use the chain rule. When you see an x squared, that's one type of function. It's a polynomial function. It is not the chain rule. That's just a power rule. Does that make sense, Andrew?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so when it's composite, two different functions, I know I have to use my chain rule. Okay, let me ask somebody specifically. Let's ask...
Don't pick me.
Sydney.
Okay, good.
What's the derivative of sine squared x?
Is that cos squared x?
Well, let's see. So she says it is cos squared x. Now, where's your additional piece?
Oh. Do you have to do the chain rule?
Yes, we got to use the chain rule, so I'll erase it. What do you think now?
I don't know.
All right, let's ask yourself. Who do you want to call, Sydney?
Oh,
Brett.
Okay, Brett.
Brett. Brett. The derivative of sine squared x.
Hold on. My dad's power washing our deck right now. I actually can't do anything, so.
Oh my goodness. Show can get started. We got to make one of these comedy shows. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it 2 sine x times cos x?
Where's my additional piece?
And times y prime?
Okay, let's think about it now. Let's take a look. So let's take a look at what's going on. So I have 2 sine x. So that's, let me write it like this. Oops, I promise I wouldn't be circling, and then I'll erase.
I don't know
So
what to do here. How is this?
Squared. So right away, I'm hoping people notice that's a chain rule. So let's write it down. There's 2 types of functions. There's a x squared function. There's a trig function, sine x. That means composite to me, which means chain rule. So now I know chain rule. I got to do the outside function first. What's my outside function? The square is my outside. Chain rule, remember, start from the outside, come towards the inside. So I see what Brett's done. He brought the 2 in front. Subtract 1 from the top, so this part looks good. 2 sine x. You keep the inside as is. We haven't done anything with the inside. Next, remember, you go to the inside, the sine x piece, find the derivative of sine. Derivative of sine is cos. So now I'm done. But because this t doesn't match this x, implicit, one additional piece. For now, if you want to just call it y prime, you can. I think this other version is more powerful, so let's write this down, and then we're going to circle the one that I feel is more important or makes more sense eventually. I know what's coming up later. This looks more pleasant, easier to write down. Now, if I write it as dx dt, look at where I got that from. That t. Let me do some erasing now. So let me circle that x and that t now. When those two does not match, you always finish with the 2 like so. That x is your variable in there, the t is from the bottom.
So do you put dx, does not have to match, like, because in the beginning it just says d over dt, but then you have dx over dt.
Yeah, so this d says find the derivative of this function. This is usually your y formula. So you remember we always said y equals and then sine squared x, and then I say what is dy dt. Usually we write it like that. And y is that formula. But if the y is not there,
there we go.
I can put the equation right beside it. So that's that sine squared x. So technically that's your y equals sine squared x. But if I remove that y from the formula, so if I write it as dt and I don't put a y in there, you can put the equation directly beside it. And that part you got to get used to seeing. But I think the more you see, the more obvious it'll become. So I have the x in my equation. I have the t that comes with the derivative. I'm finding the derivative with respect to t. So the derivative of the top with respect to t, that's why there's dx dt. So now let's go back to the top. Remember this y, that x, that's why this y prime, if we can write it as dy dx, long term, I think you'll be much stronger for it. Look at A, dy dx, I see. All right. So let me quickly look at the homework here.
Where's the other general?
See if you guys can get started on it.
Pike general.
Now, my goal for you guys in terms of homework, I'm expecting people doing 20 to 30 minutes. That's my intent right now. If you spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes per day, and if you don't do homework for a couple of days, yeah, you should expect an hour and a half. But if you do your work per day, I'm looking for 20 to 30 minutes. If you're doing more and you're being overwhelmed, please communicate to me. Because it was my first time I heard people saying they're spending too much time on calculus versus the other courses. My goal is to do as much as you can. I got feedback from you guys that I'm moving too slowly. We should be doing more classwork. So then I adjusted. I went a little bit faster. But let's please keep that open with me. If you find you're doing too much homework and you're overwhelmed, please let me know. So in terms of homework, you can get started. They're probably a little bit harder, but see if you can do 1 and 3. I think 1 and 3, maybe even 5. 5 might be a little bit crazy. I see it red. So 1 and 3, if you can do 2 questions, and then that way we at least have started some of this stuff. So let's leave D for next class.
Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
All right. So there you go. Sayonara. Yes.
Shit. I had to leave class. What are you guys doing? Like, my fucking retarded ass cab is just sitting there. They gone crazy yet? No. Come on, bro. Why are they so fucking fast? Oh, did they stampede? Oh yeah, he killed them all. Perfect. Oh shit, they're gonna hit him? No, they're not gonna make it. Oh, I got one. Nope, they didn't get one. Got 0 kills, both of them, fuck. Okay, pre-calc. What's happening to them? Oh, I'm out of food, are you kidding me?
there's any mistakes, any type of errors with your marks, please let me know. You can send me personal messages. While we wait, I'll read the Chuck Norris quote of the day. Chuck Norris kills 100% of the germs. He's not doing a good job, is he? He should be fired from his job. We are all stuck in the hole. Chuck Norris, do something.
Don't take ours. What is he doing?
So while we're waiting, if you have any...
Should confirm more target.
Oh, I don't think we could have started anything. I guess we don't have any questions since we're at this point for a couple days. So I'm hoping some of you started your review. So that's what I was hoping for, some of you. So if you look at your worksheets I've given you, you should have your review assignment. Now, remember, I'm not marking your review assignment, but I think obviously you should be working on them. It's good practice. So make sure you do those questions. That last piece where you tie everything together, mix them up, get a little bit confused, and then you try to figure out is very important to your memory. Right now with my kids, my oldest one, we're doing long division and multiplication. We didn't do it for 2 days. She did the long division. She figured it out. We spent probably 2 or 3 days on long division, and then we missed one day, and then we came back to it the next day. She wasn't as smooth. She was like, how did it go? Do I subtract? Do I add? She forgot some of the steps. It's unfortunately, you have to memorize some of these things. And memory is not people's strong point. How does memory come? Through practice, through making connections. So if you make, okay, multiplication, division similar, I'm going to do this and that, then your brain remembers things. Okay, so hopefully you have some start on your review. And for those who did not pick up the handout that I have prepared at the school, you can always do the textbook, so it's on your homework sheet. So if you don't have, so hopefully you've asked somebody for the sheet. I'll just bring it up to the screen. Maybe that might help. I'll bring it up. It's hard. It might be blurry depending on my technology. Who knows how good that is, but there you go. Best thing to do is get somebody to take a picture. All right, so looking at your marks, I think these quizzes, for the most part, I think almost everybody's mark has been going up, except people who have not been handing things in.
I haven't handed them in yet.
It's probably dropping pretty quickly. So for those who still have outstanding assignments, please continue to work on them and hand it in. Here's the difference between what we used to do and now. Every single question, you might not be able to do perfect on it. Before on your test, I would always start off easy. The first 5, 10, 15 questions are easy. It would be like, oh, I feel good. I got 100%, I got 100%, 100%. Now, when I post questions, I'm only posting 2. Don't expect in your mind to get 100%. You shouldn't be saying, I want 100%. You're going to drive yourself nuts. There is no 100%. Do as much of the question, do as much detail, try to do as much as you are understanding, put it in. Don't expect to get 100%. So that's the mind change we need to have, because 2 questions. I'm trying to test as much content as possible in those 2. And so far, I think the quizzes have done a pretty good job. So for example, before I was able to find out if you know how to find angles. Then we did graphing. I got a couple key questions. Do you really understand? And man, I love the videos you guys made, good details. I can really see people's thought process. And I can see if you're truly understanding. And if you're faking it, that's still worth it for me, because now you've copied it from somebody, if you have, and you've copied other people's video, which you might have, but something's going in. That's all I care. As long as we're learning at the end, I'm good. So I don't mind people sharing ideas. Don't think you have to be protective. These marks look great. Most people who've handed in their mark have been keeping up with the work. Their mark has been going up. So I like the trends. Don't expect to get 100%. Some people have. They have perfected how to figure this stuff out. And I won't be posting any easy questions based on your marks you guys have gotten, based on the feedbacks you've given me. I think everyone, for the most part, seems to be okay when I asked about this stuff yesterday. But if you have more concerns, please post it up. This is a good time to ask questions or say, yeah, is this how we're going to do? I'm not completely happy with it. Like, if you have any questions or comments, or you want me to do something differently, please share. But based on what I've seen and how I've done my marking, I like it. I like what it's showing. I like what it's producing. And I'm getting some. Yeah. Who was that? Not sure if that was accident or not. So. Graham, do you have something to say?
No, so I was just switching devices, and that was just you talking, actually.
Yeah, it kind of echoed back to me for some weird reason. Okay, so if no one has any issue with that stuff, and you feel like your mark's representing, now of course those people who haven't handed in assignments, you look at your NHIs, your mark's probably dropping very quickly here. So start handing it in, please. And by the way, there are iReports. We're going to continue with that stuff. If your mark falls below 50, you could fail this course. So just keeping that in the back of your mind. And if you're depending on this course to graduate, you're working. There's nothing free. Nothing's going to be given to you. Just because we're at home stuck and trying to figure this out. No, it doesn't work like that. You still have to produce your work.
Oh, shit.
No excuses. You still have to do everything that is being asked. And I think for the most part, it's been pretty reasonable. We're moving not too fast. I'm hoping for you guys, Pre-Calc 12, I would say it's probably one of the most important courses for you. I've always said math, Pre-Calc, and English should be your focus. I have a calculus class, but calculus, we can move slowly. We're trying to cover as much as possible, but the intensity is not there. But Pre-Calc, I want you guys to be doing as much as possible. I would say what's reasonable for you guys, maybe 30 minutes. Calculus 12, I hope people do about 20, 30. You guys maybe 30, 25, 30. Let's go 25, 35. Somewhere. But yet, last couple classes, I've been just working, so you haven't had much, but I'm hoping you don't just say, oh, we didn't finish anything, I can relax. No, you should be working on the review, right? Anytime you get. Now, if you haven't done anything these 2 days, expect maybe an hour tomorrow, right? So you should spend more time. So every day, try to put in 25 to 35 minutes of classroom time. I think that seems reasonable. What do you guys think?
I'm going to come back to this after. I'm going to eat something.